So my question for you is, how do you know if you have the right financial controls at your house of worship? Now, this past year, one of my clients in California went through a very stressful, very traumatic experience where they were embezzled out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they told me they had to sit down with the IRS and go through their accounts. And by all accounts, that sounded a very traumatic experience and an experience that the church wouldn't want to go through again. Now, when we hear of embezzlement, and if you follow our weekly church crime trends, there is so much theft and embezzlement that occurs in and around our nonprofits. But when we're on the outside looking in, it's very easy for us to judge and say, well, they didn't have these controls, they weren't doing this things, and that would never happen at our house of worship. We know that saying, it'll never happen here. But what we really need to do in these situations is take our learning and say, well, what can we learn from this experience? One, so it never happens to us again, but also making sure it doesn't happen to other people. So one of the presentations we have at this year's 9th annual Securing Your Place of Worship, fully virtual and online conference taking place on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Pastor Trina Turner from the church in California is going to take us through how that embezzlement unfolded, what are her key lessons learned, and what can she tell you to make sure that your church isn't the next church that goes through an embezzlement. A couple of the things that I would just tell you very early, I don't want to steal Pastor Trina's thunder, but one of the key questions she said is, does the person have too much control? And it's very easy, like I said, on the outside looking in, saying our church treasurer, our financial controller, our volunteers that count the offering, they don't have too much control. But do they really? Can you look at it objectively and say we don't have too much control? The second key piece of learning, which Pastor Trina Turner is going to talk about, is how accounts are presented to the board of directors or to a church leadership team. Not relying on spreadsheets or documentation, but someone actually seeing the bank statement from the bank showing where the accounts currently are, how much money is in each account. So those are just a couple of things that she is going to talk about. But let me ask you that question again. How would you know if you have the right financial controls? On Tuesday, September 10th of this year, 2024, Pastor Trina Turner from Victory in Praise Church, California, is going to talk us through not so much the story of the embezzlement, but here's some lessons learned. Here's to make sure that it doesn't happen to you. Here's to make sure you have the right financial control. So please consider joining us. If you haven't joined us before, this is fully virtual, online, no expensive airfare, no hotel is needed. It's going to start at 9 a.m. Central Time, and it'll go through till 8:30 p.m. All the sessions are recorded, you can dip in and dip out. That is a great thing about an online conference. So for now, let's pray that your church never succumbs to an embezzlement, but please consider joining Pastor Trina Turner as she takes you through some lessons learned. But for now, you stay safe, have a blessed day. Until next time, take care, everybody.